Welcome to Lacrosse Classified, your go-to source for all things NLL and box lacrosse. We will bring you the biggest names and best storylines in the world every single week. So settle down and listen up. It's time for Lax Class.
Lacrosse fans, welcome back to Lax Class. 344 is a go. Thanks for joining us here on the Lacrosse Culture Daily Podcast Network. We're happy to be with you and in your ears. Jake Kelly, Lucas Arger back with you on the big show here. And we got such a big show that I'm just going to tell everybody what's coming on the big show before I even let you speak a word. Coming up here in period number 1. The big focus. Big focus. You knew we were going to talk about this. We'll discuss the implications, the ramifications with the Rochester Nighthawks and the National Lacrosse League making a statement yesterday that the Pegula family, who owned the Rochester Nighthawks, will cease to continue their operations, and the future a little bit up in the air for the Flower City right now. So a big focus is coming up in period 1. Also coming up here, report cards. Report cards are coming up. It's a report card day. We look forward to report card day and also our goalie of the week, courtesy of Goalie Factory, our Rycor standout players of the week, courtesy of Rycor Construction. We're going to go around the world of lacrosse, Ontario, Alberta, BC, get you caught up. Lots going on as far as the standings shifting around a little bit. Some trades have gone down in a couple of leagues. Some trades will go down in a couple of leagues. We'll maybe allude to a couple of those. Get you caught up on what's going on in summer lacrosse here in late June. Then we'll move on to period number 2. We're recording on a Tuesday. This man, I believe, is on the Bone Shaker as we speak, on his way up to the territory on the Grand River of Six Nations to take on the 3-time Mann Cup champion Six Nations Chiefs. They're going to try and go for 4 and match Peterborough. Something the Lakers have done here in pretty recent history. And this man's been a part of it all. A Quaker legend, says Pete Dalliday. Bobby Keast, the Keaster, will join us. I can't wait for this. You're going to love this conversation with Bobby Keast, so look forward to that in period 2. And then, finally, in period 3, our Lax Class Lock of the Week. I don't know how much more weird, bad luck we can have here. To have it happen 3 times in a row, unheard of. But I show up to the rink on Thursday night, ready to go, ready to settle in, call the game, and look out on the floor. No Mitch Jones in the lineup. Missed that game. Parlay was canceled. Got your money back. The win streak continues as far as I'm concerned. We haven't lost. We didn't win, but we didn't lose. So we'll try and do it again here this week. And just a couple of odds up from Coolbet so far. And I know I'm going here, Lucas, but speaking of Coolbet, just so I do not forget, jackpot larger. The Coolbet swag shipment showed up today. Now listen, for anyone that knows me fairly well, I am an absolute swag whore. If it fits and it's lacrosse related and it's free, I want it all. And I thought I got the notification, I got the delivery slip, head off to go pick up the package. I got a pretty good idea what, where it is, who it's from. And Lee asked me, what, do you know how big this box is going to be? I said, I think it's just a couple of clothes, so probably pretty flat. This box she pulls out, I'm like, what's going on here? Bring this home, slice her open. Lucas, I am never, ever going to ask Pat Gregoire for more Coolbet merchandise anymore. I probably will. But I'm going to say I'm not going to, because the man hooked up old Jumbo here, something fierce. So you got lots to look forward to. I'm essentially going to wear Coolbet for every day for the next couple of years here, and I got enough to go in rotation. My God, Pat Gregoire, thank you so much.
Are you going to be wearing that when you go play some disc golf? You going to be repping it?
It's quite possible. Yeah. I mean, I got one for every day of the week, essentially. Hoodies, shirts, hats,
The
you name
question
it.
is, how often are you going to be wearing that toque out there on the
Yeah.
golf course?
Yeah. Yeah. No toque in there. No toque in there. So that was great. Yeah, lots to talk about here on the show, Lucas. But as always, how was the weekend? A little reffing, I assume, and a little bit of running around. We don't have to get into all that, but how was your weekend? And looking forward to this big program here.
Yeah, no, I'm very looking forward to recording today after a long, stressful weekend for myself in Whitby. We had our Whitby girls box lacrosse tournament at Iroquois Park in Whitby. So I think in total, we had close to 26, 28 girls teams in Whitby, and ton of fun, great games, good champions, and it was very stressful with not a lot of referees that I had. So I had to wear a lot of different hats this past weekend, but we made it through, and another year down doing this tournament, which I do look
Yeah,
forward to it every year, but it always does
probably,
cause me a headache.
probably lots of tears of joy, tears of sorrow. That's a lot of girls' teams to kind of herd around in one arena, but good on you. Glad you got through that. Had a pretty busy week myself as far as calling games. Another 5-5 stretch, and nice to have a couple of days off. Got a bit of a lighter week this week. Got the Canada Day holiday coming up, of course, Lucas. So just a few this week, but some good matchups on deck. We'll talk about those here coming up. What else can I tell you? I think that's about it. And I feel like we got so much to talk about here on the show. Like we might as well not waste any more time chit-chatting here, Largy. Let's get into it here. Back because it needs to come back. It's the big focus.
Big focus.
Big focus.
Focus. Other than a big focus.
Focus.
Big focus.
Big focus. Big focus. The big focus. You haven't heard the big focus before, Lucas, probably. There you go. There's the big focus right there. And I'll say this. It's we can bring this to you. Well, let's do it by the WLA, so I don't forget those guys this week. Brought to you by the WLA. WLAlacrosse.com is where you want to go if you want to stay up to date on all the league's happenings, standings, stats, 3-star leaders, schedule. It's all there at WLAlacrosse.com, and the link to WLA there, as well as you can watch every single game in the Western Lacrosse Association online as well. Big focus, though, Lucas, has to deal with the National Lacrosse League. And, this had been whispered about for the last little while. Like, I don't think it came as a big surprise. The Rochester Nighthawks and the Pegula family, who also own the Buffalo Bandits, the Buffalo Sabres, the Buffalo Bills, pretty much Buffalo as far as sports go, also owned the Rochester Nighthawks. When Kurt Stiers decided to move his franchise from Rochester to Halifax, they were left without an owner. The Pegula family, who also owned the Rochester Americans, decided to step up and purchase the Nighthawks to keep that team moving forward. I don't know how long they have been searching for new ownership, but I think it's going on quite some time now, and they haven't been able to do so. So Rochester coming out with a statement yesterday that they are ceasing operations. The league is still searching for new ownership. I've talked to a couple of people that, I trust. They said, it's not over yet. Still some hope that they may find local ownership and be able to keep the team in Rochester, which ultimately is what everybody should want. To be able to keep the team in Rochester and keep the Rochester Nighthawks. Aside from the great roster and coaching staff and everybody involved with that franchise that they have right now, the tradition of the Rochester Nighthawks and what they have meant to this league, I do not want to see that team go away. Never mind the rivalry with Buffalo and all the rest of it. But my worry is it's been a while. They've been searching for a while. And finally they had to say enough's enough. I don't like that sign for the optics of it, right? We saw what happened with Panther City a couple of years ago. They just couldn't find a new ownership group for that team either. So I don't think we're talking relocation. which means we're probably talking dispersal draft. I don't think we need to go down that road quite yet, Lucas, but you can share your thoughts on when you saw the news come across our eyeballs yesterday. The league making a statement and the Rochester Nighthawks making a statement. Brett Fruit saying he's still hopeful as well. And I don't know, of course he's going to say that, right? That's what he should say. Maybe I'm not as hopeful as what Brett may be.
When you're the commissioner and you say the words, I'm hopeful that XYZ can occur, that always does have a little bit of optimism, maybe some assurance in some people's minds and in their hearts. I'm not that optimistic at this moment. I think it's probably going to end in dispersal draft, but like you said, we don't need to go down that rabbit hole. My own personal thoughts on the whole thing is it would be very disheartening, and it would be sadness if the Nighthawk franchise is done and over with. It's been around forever, and to see no more lacrosse in Rochester, where there's a ton of great universities and college teams in and around Rochester and within the city itself, other northern New York State teams, it would be very sad, ultimately kind of lost. It would be a big hole to fill.
I just go back to the fact that they've been searching for ownership there a long time. And if they haven't found one yet, the chances that one's going to magically appear, in the next couple of months here to get things rolling again with the team, that's a big ask. And, whether the league could prop it up for a little bit while they work through it, I don't know. But not a good situation, obviously, in Rochester. And we'll kind of keep you posted on how it all develops. But, for everybody that had a job through that organization, those are the people that I really feel for. The players, of course, and the coaches and managers, but all the support staff, the ticket sales, the community relations people, it's all done. Nobody's there to sign a paycheck. So obviously you're not going to work for free. Really tough situation, but obviously need to be addressed, and we'll just kind of keep our pulse on it, on how things develop, and any news that we may get, we will share along here on the podcast. I can't, what do you want to do first, Lucas? Do you want to do kind of roundups quickly and then get into report cards? I think we should do that and just kind of lighten the load after that a little bit. Let's quickly, Rocky Mountain Junior A Lacrosse League here. I don't know if we really need to spend a whole lot of time on this. The Junior A Raiders are 10-0. I don't see anyone slowing that train down. And I don't think the test is going to come for that team, which may cost them ultimately not being really super tested during the regular season. And I don't want to discount the Mountaineers. I just think the Raiders are the class of the league. I feel like that's pretty clear. But they're going to run into some juggernauts here if they do, in fact, get through to the Mann Cup. And will they be battle-tested enough throughout the season where they can bring their level up? Probably, it'll need to go 2 or 3 levels from where they are in the regular season here to try and compete and win a Mann Cup.
That's always been the question coming from the teams out of Alberta is there's not a lot of teams, so they don't get as high level of competition. When they make it to the national championship, are they able to step it up in order to contend with these top teams coming out of BC and BC and Ontario? So are the Raiders able to do it? Should they make it to St. Catharines? We will all get our answer in August if that occurs.
Yeah, it's not too far off in the distance now. And, I don't think the only notable, I want to say, traded out of the Rocky Mountain Junior Lacrosse League at the deadline was Tyler Redlick, who ended up with the Whitby Warriors, the minors goaltender. Titan. My bad. What did I say?
Tyler.
It's a unique name. I should know that one. So I think he was the only guy that really was notable out of the Rocky League. We will kind of get to the other news of trades in Ontario and BC as well. But let's where do you want to go? Let's get major off the board, and then we'll kind of finish with Ontario Junior, because I think they were the busiest out of all the leagues as far as moves went. But where are we here? Like I mentioned, we got Keaster coming up, and we're recording on Tuesday. Six Nations and Peterborough coming up tonight. That is going to be a barn burner. Let's just say rematch too, right? Peterborough beat him in the first game.
Yeah, they did.
Brampton break up the Excelsiors. They got their first victory of the season. They beat Oakville, but Brampton finally on the board as they get into the win column with a win over the Rock.
I was very surprised by that, to be honest. I didn't think, not that Brampton's roster is bad, but to do it at the track in Oakville's barn, where it's much bigger and much different than Brampton Memorial Arena, I didn't know if they'd be able to do it, but they did, and limiting Oakville to 1 goal in the third period. Wow.
Yeah, and then you had Brooklyn, who they had a big win over Peterborough, but then they dropped the game to Coburg, which is disappointing for them for their home playoff floor race, right? Like that was that almost eliminates the Peterborough win. You know what I'm saying? They win this big game and then they drop one to Coburg. And I'm not dissing Coburg here, but that's, you look at the standings. It's a team that they probably went into that game saying, we got this. And then it didn't happen. Speaking of didn't happen, not sure what happened, but floor conditions responsible for a cancellation of a game. Don't see that very often, especially here in 2025. I don't know what's going on there in the Sound of Owen, where the floor is so bad that. Do you have any info on what was going on with the floor? Was the ice plant stop work? What happened?
Well, they're not even in the Sound of Owen this season due to the Bayshore Community Center fully under renovations. All Owen Sound lacrosse teams have been moved to the small town of Durham, where the Hanover Junior C hockey team plays. So they're actually in Durham. What I heard was that the floor was 65% good to go for the start of the game. And then after that, it just deteriorated so bad that if you took one step, it's a skating rink, and
so there was
nobody
moisture
could find
coming
any
up
footing.
through it. There was moisture.
There was, absolutely.
Okay, so yeah, I don't that the ice plant must have just, I don't know what happened, turned on or turned off, and that happened in Nanaimo not too long ago as well. So I guess it's something that can just happen, and unfortunate there that they had to cancel that one. The BC Junior Lacrosse League had to cancel a game as well as old BC Fairies, those burglars that they are, canceled a ferry ride over to Nanaimo, and then the next one wasn't going to be in time to get the game in and then be able to get back. So Thunder took a trip to the terminal and then turned around and drove back home, I suppose. So they'll have to make up that game at some point. But we can have a look at the standings here in junior lacrosse. Now, let's talk about what's happened in BC junior lacrosse here for a second, Lucas. We saw Josh Mills, old Millsy, get shipped off from Port Coquitlam to the Toronto Beaches. I think he picked up a Gino last night, if I'm not mistaken. I saw on the feed there. Didn't get to watch the game, but was following along. And so that was a big piece for Toronto. And we'll talk more about all the OJ moves coming up here. We saw Poco make a couple more deals, most notably probably Ashton Brown, goaltender for the Saints. Draft pick, I want to say by the Halifax Thunderbirds, get shipped off to Nanaimo, which was a little bit surprising because they have a pretty good goaltender in Aquino. So I'm really not, I don't know. Maybe something happened there that I don't know. So there's that. And then, of course, the BC Junior trade line still coming up. But hearing word, haven't confirmed this yet or not, but I think it's as good as done. I know there was upwards of 4 or 5 teams clamoring for the services of Buffalo Bandit, still in Junior A lacrosse, New Westminster Junior Sandbelly Lucas Nielsen. And like I said, I think 4 or 5 teams competing, dealing, trying to deal. But I'm hearing that the host team, the St. Catharines Athletics, have won the sweepstakes for Lucas Nielsen. Have you confirmed this, Lucas? Do you know this to be true? It's just what I'm hearing.
I'm hearing the same thing. I cannot say that it is 100% a done deal. He's on a flight to St. Catharines. I cannot confirm that, but I have heard that they are the highest bidders. They've put together a good package to send back from the people that I've spoken to and the sources that I have. I cannot say it's 100% a done deal. He is an Athletic.
Okay. So wait and see on that one. Probably by the time that this podcast comes out, that news will probably be out as well. But they're still waiting, Langley. We'll see what they do. They still have a week or so to kind of figure out if they want to, stay the course or maybe make some moves. New West has obviously started to make a couple. Nanaimo thinks that they're in it here at 6-4, kind of acquiring some pieces. Delta, do they want to mortgage the future a little bit to try and improve their club? And the Adnecks are always going to be active at the deadline, looking to bolster up their roster. They're still sitting in first.
How many teams make
9-2.
the playoffs in the BC Junior League? Is it all 8?
No, it's not. It's I won't say it's just top 4.
Top 4? Is it the usual format? 1, 4, 2, 3. Winners play each other.
Actually, maybe it's top 6 and 1 and 2 get the bye. Man, I should know this. And I don't. And I just don't. It's either 4 or 6. It's definitely not all 8. It might be 6 and top 2 get a bye. I'll try and confirm that, but we got to move along here, Lucas. We got Bobby Keast coming up and a whole bunch more as well. Where are we left with? We got WLA left and we got Ontario Junior A left. So quick check-in on the WLA. Bellies went 2-0 with big wins over Nanaimo back-to-back. Adnacks, who are sitting in second here, 10 games played, however. Split the Island series over there as they lost to Victoria 8-4, but then responded nicely and beat Nanaimo. So 7-2-1 for the A's in second place here after 10 games. Crazy. Shamrock 6-1-1. That tie back with Maple Ridge. Have them off pace here a little bit, and Thunder got a win and then they got a loss. They are 4-5. Nothing else too notable. Burrard's starting to heat up here a little bit. 2 straight wins for them, but still work to be done. Lost a lot of 1-goal games so far this year, but Burrard's could be sneaky good down the stretch. Keep an eye on those kids from the Ridge. Anything to add on the WLA, Lucas, before we move to the OJ?
No, you took the words out of my mouth. Burrards are heating up. Adnacks in the mix.
They're in the mix because I'll tell you what, not again, like I feel like I'm disrespecting people by saying positive things about others. That's not what I'm trying to do here. But no disrespect to Andrew Gallant, who does have first star performance and a win under his belt this season and was great in his lone performance. But just look what it's done for the Adnacks, getting Christian Del Bianco in between their pipes. Like it just automatically makes you a playoff contender. It automatically gives you a chance to win every single game because the other team is going to have to work for goals against him, and he's going to keep you in it most nights, and sometimes he's going to steal it for you too.
Yes, he can. He's proven it time and time again. I don't know if you can say he's the big reason why they're doing so well, but he's definitely one of the main reasons.
He's definitely one of the main reasons. I mean, there's probably more than one. And the other one I'd definitely put in the conversation is the coaching job that Steve McKinley has done with that team. He has just had his finger on the pulse here a little bit with that group. They've all bought in. I think he manages the game extremely well. Like he's always thinking and trying to be a step ahead and being proactive and ready for any situation. I think he's taken a lot of that from Kurt Milosky as well, just being as prepared as possible. He's got plays ready for game situations that not every team in the WLA has at the ready. And I think that's made a big difference on that. Coquitlam bench having him running the show. All right, let's turn our attention to the Ontario Junior A Lacrosse League here. And I know you got it up in front of you. Lacrosse Culture Daily put out a good article just yesterday about all the action that went down in Ontario Junior Lacrosse just prior to the trade deadline. I don't believe the Mills news or the Lucas Nielsen news was in that article, but nonetheless, a lot of movement and kind of those top 4 teams, top 5 teams made themselves better here just prior to the deadline.
Yeah, they did. A lot of phone calls and emails for all general managers and head coaches this past weekend in the OJ St. Catharines made a lot of moves. Whitby did. Orangeville acquired a couple of players. The Beaches sent 4 picks to KW for 4 players. That was a big move. Oakville was able to get big time offensive player Peyton Booth out of the Beaches. So there were definitely a ton of moves being made. Some interesting ones, I'll say, or some questionable ones. We'll see how those play out down the line, but definitely the big dogs are looking to all make a push, with St. Catharines looking to win it as they are automatically in due to them being the hosts.
Yeah, they kind of bolstered their back end through some trades, and then they needed some offensive help. They didn't get it through Ontario, but if they did in fact get Lucas Nielsen, they definitely got some help in that regard. I saw Matty Carrick kind of tweeting out his thoughts about all these deals. He called Blondin maybe the best available for defender on the back end, next to Taguri, who ended up in Orangeville. Right. He was kind of Mimico's best graduating player. And so everybody, kind of made their stance known. We think we can win, and we're going to try and go all in here with the Minto Cup being in Ontario. Remember, St. Catharines is in, and just one of those other teams is going to be standing at the end. And it's going to be interesting to see how St. Catharines approaches the playoffs as well. Do you go all in here and try and win yourself an Ontario junior title? And
yes,
you do.
Yes, you do. When you're the host and you know you have an automatic berth, you still go for it. Because at the end of the day, people would look at this and say, if St. Catharines does end up winning the Minto Cup, but they don't win Ontario, is it a true Minto Cup? If they make it to the Ontario finals,
who cares what people say if you got the ring at the end of the day? For me, you can see it in the Minto Cup alone when those two teams have to play the extra game in the semifinal and don't get that extra day of rest, and you have a certain amount on your roster, and to win the Minto Cup, you're going to probably need at least 95% of that roster to play at least one game during that Minto Cup. So is it a bad strategy to maybe give game 3 or game 4 of an Ontario junior final off to your star players to keep them fresh and healthy going into the Minto Cup, where they're going to get taxed even more? I think St. Catharines has a huge advantage here. Maybe they want to win the opening round of the playoffs, and then maybe we'll take an extra week to get to practice more, get healthy. I think they got a massive advantage here on how they want to dictate themselves going into the Minto Cup here. Do they care about winning on Ontario Junior A Championship, or is the ultimate goal to win the Minto Cup and you manage your team and your roster accordingly for what really matters come August back in St. Catharines? You're in.
I think when you look at this, how the entire athletics organization has gone about the trade deadline, second half of the season gets underway, you need to step back and take a look at your lineup and go, how much do we want to win? How much do we want to etch our names into both trophies? And if that's the case, what do we need to do to accomplish that? Because getting it on the Minto Cup is the ultimate prize, but having both of them and saying we won our home province is also an accomplishment that most players do want one day.
All right. I mean, there's something to be said for that. And I think there's also something to be said for going, like you said, walking through the front door on this thing, be playing your best lacrosse, going into the Minto Cup as well. And you can fight some demons and play some games with yourself a little bit when, you maybe don't give your all in a game or in a series and get knocked out. Then you're waiting around. It's a double-sided coin here, on which way is the best way. But either way, I still say St. Catharines has a big advantage on how they want to approach this playoff run that they're about to go on.
They do, and it'll be more interesting to see not only how they finish in the standings, but if they get home floor through one of those rounds.
All right, there is your summer roundup. I told you this was going to be a big program. We're just getting started. We're still in period number 1. But we're about to work even harder here in the first, Lucas, because we're heading to the factory. The Goalie Factory, that is, for our Goalie Factory Goalie of the Week.
Big save, Giuliano. Rebound call, Crime Stoppers.
Vince just scored a goalie goal.
Jameson somehow comes up with the stop. Larceny.
And here's Shane Jackson off the bench. And there's Christian Del Bianco with a stick side save. Goalie Factory Goalie of the Week, brought to you by the Goalie Factory, obviously. You know about the Goalie Factory, but in case you don't, you can give them a follow on TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, at Goalie Factory _. And that's the best thing to do because you just hit their link tree and then they got all their links on their social media. Wherever it is you want to go, you get your signups there. You can do it all at Goalie Factory _. That's the best way to do it. And then get better at playing goal. Whether it be box lacrosse or field lacrosse, whether it be in person or online, the Goalie Factory is going to make you better. That's what a factory does. It just makes things better, faster, better. That's what a factory is all about. This guy is going to join the Goalie Factory this week, Lucas. I want to share these clips with you just so you can appreciate them as much as I did. As I had a guy, hopefully I can look this up here quickly because I'm always super brutal for that. But Dawson Nielsen, and I don't know if it's Dawson on the call or not, but he sent me the clips of Rocky Mountain Lacrosse League Junior B Tier 1 Fort Saskatchewan Rebels. And I always get this confused. Fort Saskatchewan is actually in Alberta, right? That's right. I don't know why Fort Saskatchewan is it, but I'm pretty sure it is. Mr. Bowen Carpenter. This guy sent me a couple of saves from Bowen, and these are 10-bell spectacular call Crime Stoppers, robbery central here for Bowen Carpenter from the Fort Saskatchewan Rebels. I appreciate anybody that is willing to engage the show, send me clips, make suggestions on maybe the goalie of the week or a standout player of the week. We're all ears at Lax Class, and if you're going to take the time to make the effort, then you're going to get some recognition here, Mr. Bowen Carpenter. Holy cow. Wait till you see these saves, Lucas. This guy made 2 absolutely spectacular stops, and he's our Goalie Factory Goalie of the Week.
Well done to, what'd you say his name is? Bowen Carpenter?
Yeah,
Jeez,
how about that for a name? That's a good name.
I was going to say,
for
that's a lacrosse name if I've ever heard one. Playing there for the Rebels. Can't wait to see these clips.
Yeah, wait till I see them. You'll see them. All right, quick shift at the factory, Lucas. Let's keep it rolling here in period 1 and get straight to the construction site. Strap on the steel toes, the tool belt, the hard hat, grab your lunch kit. It's going to be a long day. We're heading for the Rycor Construction site. Standout players of the week. I'm in a singing mood today. Last couple of weeks, I haven't really been feeling like singing, but I kind of feel like singing today for some reason, Lucas. I don't know why. Rycor Construction, like we mentioned, Joshy Mills off to the Toronto Beaches, so he's not putting any time in on the construction site. I can tell you that. But lots of lacrosse players are. Not the guys that are the standout players every week, but there's actual lacrosse players that work for Rycor Construction. You can check out their work on their Instagram or Facebook page at Rycor Construction Inc. Family owned in the Lower Mainland, right where I'm hanging out here in BC. Kitchens, bathrooms, full home renos, additions, flooring. I asked Rye just last week out there at the Ridge game. I said, "How's business going?" Can't keep up at Rycor Construction. Advertising is working here on the podcast. They're making it stand out over there. www.rycorconstruction.ca to get all their contact information. Get in touch with these folks. Let them make it stand out for you. It's time, Lucas Arger, for your Rycor Standout Player of the Week.
I'm going to go to a team that I said wouldn't have a shot at the Minto, but they had a good week this past week. Pat Gregoire is going to own me for this, as he rightfully should. He was just announced as the Ontario Junior Lacrosse League's Rookie of the Week because he could not stop putting the ball in the back of the net. Way to go, Caleb Tatarek.
Not Kayla Kruger this week. What happened? What's going on over there, Rusty? What's up with the boy?
Yeah. It's a good question, Rusty. But no, Mr. 44 for the Beaches, Caleb Tatarek. This guy, every time he had the ball in his stick, it found the back of the net. I could not tell you how. I could tell you why, but we all know the answer because the Beaches want to win games. But a big lefty that they have plays with Willem Firth, and Tatarek was on fire this past week for Toronto.
Now they got Josh Mills, another big lefty over there, and a pure goal scorer as well, self-proclaimed, by the way. I'm going to highlight another left-handed goal scorer here, and normally I don't do this, and it's almost a shame. Like I hope the league figures out a way to get some highlights out each week from these games going on in the Western Lacrosse Association. But if you happen to be watching Friday night from the swamps of Burnaby Lake Arena over there at Bill Copeland Sports Center, Burnaby Lakers are having a tough year, no question about that. And they didn't even win the game. But I tell you, Thomas Vella went and put up a goal of the year candidate on Friday night, a la Chase Fraser, jumping scissor kick between the legs while he was in the air, laid in the shot clock, back to the goal. Like, this thing was about as nasty as it gets as far as lacrosse goals go. So just for that fact alone, Thomas Vella is my Rycor standout player of the week.
I'm honestly not sure which name is better, but I think he does have goal of the week, possibly goal of the year locked up, as I did see that clip. Oh,
you did? Oh, yeah. Just wow.
Disgusting.
And it's funny, you see Thomas Vella do it. This guy's a professional lacrosse player, and you're like, that's pretty damn sick right there. Out there in Maple Ridge during the intermissions, I don't know what they are. U9, U11, sitting there having a chat with Mouse and just kind of corner my, and he goes, I had my back to the floor. I said, what? He goes, kid out there just tried to chase Fraser. The kids, 11-year-old. Trying the between the legs jumping shot there.
They're starting early. They're trying to take Fraser's job. They're trying to take Vella's job. They're trying to take everybody's job.
Listen, they see it, then they want to try it. I said on the air once he did that, I said, like, if I would have tried that shot, never mind in a game, like even in practice, they would have sent me out of the arena into the parking lot doing push-ups until somebody come and got. I would have gotten in so much trouble if I would have tried that back in my, but now it's almost encouraged.
You would have gotten
guys.
The push-ups? I would have been running across the street where the train station is, back to the arena, just to go back to the train station. And the train station's not close. It's a good ways away across from the parking lot.
Imagine if things were like that in your day, how much even more stricter. Like, you weren't even really allowed to throw backhands all that much. Like Junior was and Doyle was and stuff, but nobody else was really kind of doing that type of thing. And now it's just anything goes with those guys.
I'll tell you a quick story. I was practicing one day. I was playing Pee Wee lacrosse. So this is U13 age. And on our power play unit, we had a big guy in our power play unit, probably the biggest guy on our team, had a lot of muscle on him. In a game, and sorry, this was in practice. And he caught the ball. And so he's a right-hand shot, switched to his left just to go back to his right, and threw an around the world, went post in. My coach looked at him and said, go to the far end, do jumping jacks, do push-ups,
and he
run back here, and then keep doing that until I tell you to stop.
And he scored.
He did. He absolutely did. He went posted in.
Yeah, the rule was if we did it
like that,
and we didn't score, then it was trouble. But if you scored, then there's not much you can say. But clearly not for that coach. All right, Lucas, welcome to the construction site to Tarek and Vella. You were this week's Rycor Standout Players of the Week. One final segment here to go in a monster first period, and it's report card day. It's time for report cards.
Settle down, class. Today is report card day. Today is report card day. It's report card day. I take out my report card. Throw some D's on that. I take out my report card. Throw some D's.
I take out my report card. Report cards, Lucas, they're not brought to you by anybody this week, so let's get right into the report cards. As always, you go first. Positive, negative. I got a pretty good feeling where you're going this week, but you tell us.
Yeah, I think you got a good idea where I'm going to. This week, I'm going pretty positive. The Ontario Junior Lacrosse League has done a great job at doing their game of the week, highlighting every team, getting them a chance to play live on YouTube. Their games are streamed by JVI Sports Network, who do a great job. They're free. Yes, no payment required, no subscription, no one-time payment offer or free trials. Just go on to YouTube and you can see it. But no, the league has done a great job at doing this. They started it 4 years ago in 2021. They've continued to have a contract with JVI Sports Network, and they have done an amazing job at highlighting the amount of talent that these players have in the OJLL. It's amazing that it's finally happening. Junior lacrosse was never streamed at one point, and now that they're doing it, it's not only cool, but it's a good way to showcase these players and the talent that they have.
Yeah, absolutely. Don't mistake yourself. Like college coaches down south are watching these games, and that's where they're watching. They're watching those players to see who deserves a scholarship to Georgetown or Ohio State or North Carolina or wherever the case may be. So it's a great vehicle for that. And I've had the chance to work with JVI a number of times, and Gary Morrison and his crew do a fantastic job, whether it's President's Cups or OJ or whatever the case is. Whatever they're doing, it's going to be a quality production. Matty Carrick, I think, is probably one of the best play-by-play guys that is not at the next level. He probably should be. You know, Donnie when he's there and you know, Greggy when he gets to sit in from time to time, I think have done a wonderful job. And like you said, I think maybe the most important thing has been the fact that they've given some exposure to some markets that may not always get it, whether it's doing a game in Oakville or Brampton or up there in Burlington. Everybody's kind of been rotated through here a little bit. And yeah, you only get the one game of the week, and it might not be the marquee matchup of the week, but I kind of like the fact that you get to see some teams and some players that you don't always get to see. You're going to see those teams and players in the playoffs anyways. So the fact that they kind of give everybody a little sprinkle and some exposure, I think, is a real nice move from the league as well. And couldn't agree more with it. Are we going? Well, we got to go like A+ here, right? We might as well just give them the full.
I'm going A+ on this.
Gold star, green check mark.
This is an amazing accomplishment that they've done. I heard whispers of it pre-COVID that they wanted to get this done, and they hammered it out in 2021 during the pandemic, and they've continued to do it, which is amazing. So definitely an A+ for everybody that's been involved on this matter. Well done.
Agreed on that. Since you're so extra positive this week, I will flip the script here a little bit and listen. You know, for all the good things that the OJ is doing right now, there's a lot of good things going on in the BCJ, and I think. You know, one place is now I'm trying to think what it's called here. The Roundup, I think they're calling it. My old buddy there, Tino Farah and Megan Kinna, each week over there with the folks at Trick Shot are producing a Junior A kind of half-hour special, getting you recapped on the week that was and the week that. So I think they're doing that's a great place to go and keep up to date with everything that's happening in junior lacrosse. But I had another person message me, and listen, I follow most of the teams, if not all. I kind of keep my finger on the pulse, so I'm always like looking and searching for things. But I had somebody message me and go, where can I keep up to date with all the Junior A trades in BC? I can't find them. And I was like, what? Well, so then I went to the BC Junior Lacrosse Twitter account. I don't think they've posted since May the 10th. Then I went to the BC Junior A Lacrosse website. Nothing about the trades that have taken place. You know, they're again, like May, the last time there was a recent article posted on the website. Now, I don't know if there is, circumstances surrounding this where somebody was doing the job and now they're not doing the job or what. But come on now. I mean, the BC Junior Lacrosse League, a lot of teams in that league have done a good job exposing their their teams with doing webcasts and what have you. And some other people have done some things to prop the league as well. But the league as itself needs to take a little responsibility and promote itself and have people talking about the trades that just happened or who's doing what in the league. And right now, it looks like it's dormant. And I don't know why, but I don't like it. So C- for the social team and the website updating. That is not happening at the BC Junior A Lacrosse League right now. That's unacceptable. Playoffs are around the corner. Let's pick up the shoe straps here a little bit and do better at that.
Promoting a league is vital, especially in this game of lacrosse where we're constantly trying to grow it and expand it. And something as minuscule as that is not posting your trades. It's just not a good look. It leaves a bad taste in your mouth. Completely agree with you, Jake.
Can't be that if somebody's got the keys to those accounts. A little positive, a little negative here on Lax Class Report Cards this week. Lucas, we're just getting started here on the big program, though. We got to shift our attention to period number 2, and one of Peterborough's finest will join us on the other side. Big fan of this guy. You should be too. Bobby Keast of the Peterborough Lakers joins us next here on the Lacrosse Culture Daily Podcast Network.
This is Logan Schuss, and you're listening to Lax Class.
Welcome back to Lax Class as we move into period number 2 here on episode 344, right here on the Lacrosse Culture Daily Podcast Network. And as you know, or you may not know, you may be a new classmate here to the show. Period 2, Edge Dynamics. Passionate about supporting communities and driving growth. Based out of Alberta, they partner with nonprofits and small businesses to deliver sharp marketing strategies that make an impact. EdgeDynamics.ca. That's where you go. That's our website. They'll sharpen your brand on a global level, the entire planet. Social media at Edge Dynamics Digital, and you can see what they do for yourself. This guy has been a dynamic coach for the Peterborough Lakers for I don't know how long now. He's just been there forever as far as I'm concerned. I didn't even look this up, Bobby. Do you have more rings than fingers at this point? Welcome to Lax Class. How are you?
I'm great. Thanks for having me, Jake. This is great. Unfortunately, I don't. I've got 9, so I'll keep on going.
Okay. You got room for one more. And hey, listen, this might be the year. We'll talk about that. And literally as we talk, you're on the bus. I don't know. I know the Chiefs got their own monikered bus that they roll around in there. Bobby, did the Lakers have that too? Or are you guys on the charter?
Yeah, no, we've got a charter bus, but it's a pretty nice bus. We're well looked after.
Okay, sounds good. That bus though is pretty sick. Just Chiefs.
Yeah.
All right, so room for one more. You're actually on the bus right now. You're riding up to play the Six Nations Chiefs, who you've already played once this year, if I'm not mistaken, and you guys won that game, if I'm not mistaken, 7-6 in a low-scoring duel there. I think that one was in Peterborough. So now up to the ILA. I'm sure you're going to get yourself a little chicken wrap. I would if I was you. And then a big game against the Chiefs here, man. This is going to be a good one tonight, and I get to watch it. I'm pumped for this one.
Yeah, any time you get a chance to play the Chiefs, it's going to be, I'm going to say, a classic big boy lacrosse game. Yeah, no one's really holding back. Expect the same type, close defensive game. Up there's always a challenge. Small rinks, small corners. So everything you get, you have to earn.
What's it going to take to beat them? Because you just said, Bobby, they're not an easy team.
No, they're not easy at all. You know what? 3 things, to be honest with you, right?
How'd you beat him the first time? How'd you beat him the first time? Tell us that.
Yeah, you know what? I think we just executed our game plan, right? We've got a pretty solid group of returning guys from last year, and we've sprinkled in some youth, and really we're able to execute the game plan. Keep in mind, they were missing some guys, as were we. However, that's kind of some of the benefits of games early in the season. And we were at home. I definitely advantage playing anybody up in Peterborough. You know, I think we had about 3,200 3,300 at that game. Sellard, I think, is 3,700. So definitely a good crowd, and they obviously help.
The city of Peterborough interested in maybe buying the Rochester Nighthawks bump. I mean, 3,200. I mean,
yeah. No,
probably about what they were getting there. Probably about what they were getting there.
Yeah, I think we sit around 2,500 for season ticket holders. So we do well, right? So the city supports us, and they have now for quite some time. So we got to continue to do the little things to put that product on the floor.
Barely any space left on those jerseys with all the advertising that you guys slap all over those things. You can't even see the numbers half the time. Hey, we're here with Bobby Keast, and you mentioned the game plan, Keaster, and you've been coaching a long time here in Peterborough, of course, back in our Minnesota Swarm days that I reminisce so fondly about. But how much has the game plan changed for you as a coach? You're always evolving, or always should be trying to evolve as a coach. From the early days in your coaching career to where you're at now, how has it changed the game plan for you?
Yeah, so for me personally, I'll be honest, I actually do a little bit of prep. I'll say in the early years, there was kind of just show up to the rink, kind of pick your lineup and make maybe some in-game adjustments as games went on, but definitely some prep. Who's playing well, who's not playing well for you. For us, and also for whoever you're playing that night, and making sure that the guys have all the information they need to know about maybe what they've done, on a 6-on-5 or what their power play is kind of looking like. So definitely for myself, it's been prep. My prep for games now, and like I said before, used to just show up. Now it's definitely up to an hour sometimes with a little bit of prep.
Well, and the other thing with you, like, I don't think you've ever been the head man in Peterborough, but you've gone through Jamie Batley, Joe Sullivan, Mike Hazen now. I don't even know if there's a TK, maybe a Paul Day at one point. And you've just kind of been there the entire time. Maybe the only guy that's been there the entire time.
Yeah, you know what? You're right. I have been. I'm very, very fortunate. I kind of started this journey. It was Jamie Batley and I started. It actually was kind of funny. I was originally offered the head coaching job. At the time, I was working shift work at Quaker Oats and couldn't make that commitment. Called up Bats and said, "Hey, what do you think about being co-coaches?" He turned me down. And then the next day he called me back and said, "No, I think I can make that work." And I'll be honest with you, that was kind of the start of our journey for that first Mann Cup. And so I think that was in 2002. And we really set out a plan then to win our first Mann Cup, which was in with 04. So then, I'm very, very fortunate to spend a lot of time with Jamie and Jim Milligan was there. Joe Sullivan, there was a bit of a lapse. We had basically we all got kind of fired, and then they brought back just a few of us, Joe Sullivan and I, and then Mike Hazen came on and Tracy and Michael Accursi, and they kept me on. They obviously saw some value, and which I'm very thankful for. And then it's just kind of evolved into this again.
Do you see the journey ending anytime soon for yourself, Bobby, or are you going to stay on the bench until kind of the team looks at you and says, "Yeah, you're done"?
Yeah, you know what? I think I'm going to have to evaluate that. I don't want to be that guy where, I'm hanging around, but I'm not adding value. At this point, I still believe I'm adding value. And I love the coaching staff I got now with TK and GI and Hazer. And, we work very well together. So, I guess as long as they'll have me, I'm going to stick around. But I think if I ever get that feeling that it's, worn out my welcome, I'll definitely step away.
Well, you make sure you say hi to the old silverback gorilla there, Matty Giles, for me. I'm not sure where he is on the bus right now, but what about, the National Lacrosse League, Bobby? You had some time with Minnesota, Chicago too, if I'm not mistaken, but what's the desire level there? Do you think do you want to do it? And if you do, why haven't you? Like, what do you think's been holding that up? Because clearly the track record and the resume kind of speak for itself here. So fill me in on that.
Yeah. So this is actually a pretty good little story, Jake. So I'm glad to share it. So definitely in the position to get back in the National Lacrosse League again. You have to make sure things are, you got to get approval at home first. My family would support me going back. I basically have young adults now, so they would support that. You got to get support at work, and I've got support from my my colleagues at work to do that. I'll be honest with you, I haven't done it for a while, and the story goes like this, Jake. So I got let go from Minnesota, right? And then kind of was going to take some time to kind of, readjust or evaluate myself. Whenever you get let go from a job, I took that personally. So I wanted to make sure I was in the right state of mind to get back in the game. Unfortunately, that November, I lost my father. That alone was a big shock to me. It wasn't expected. And then my daughter, who at the time, Taya, she was, I think she was around 11 or 12 years old, asked me, "Hey, Dad, are you going back to coaching in the NLL?" And I said, "No, I'm going to take a year off and see what next year brings." And her response to me was, "Great, because you haven't been to my birthday party in 4 years."
Jesus.
So, Jake, that was the biggest wake up call I've had.
Yeah, that one hit home hard. Hey?
Yeah. So at that point, then I was never coaching again. That was it. I failed as a father, all that kind of drama. But
which is nonsense, Bobby, because I know your kids are really good kids, and they're fabulous athletes as well. Have been really successful at what they've done.
Yeah. No, I know, but when your 10-year-old says that to you, that's kind of my first response. So I really focused on them. I focused on my work at Quaker Oats, and obviously I was fortunate enough. I still had summer ball to kind of keep my I'll say toe in the water. So at some point, if I was going to make that leap again, at least I had my finger on the pulse, right?
You just mentioned your daughter a little bit there, Bobby. So I want to ask you about her and job that I don't know how recent this is, so correct me if I'm wrong, obviously, but you were the coach at Western University for the women's team for a period of time. Are you still the coach? What is that like, coaching women's field and then coming back inside the box?
Yeah, you know what? I'm really lucky. So my daughter Taya is kind of a dual sport athlete at Western. She's there on a track scholarship, but because of the track season, which kind of runs all season, but the track coach said, "Hey, Taya, go play field lacrosse in the fall and join the track team right after kind of Thanksgiving." So for myself, the coach that was there, he was struggling to get some support, and I just said to him, "Hey, I can't make practices, but I can be at every game because I'm going to be at every game. Let me know if I can support." He jumped all over it, which I was thankful for. We were very, very fortunate. We had a strong team kind of my first year jumping.
You got any idea what's going on out there, Bobby? Because I try and watch women's field lacrosse, and I get lost pretty quickly. I'm not going to lie to you.
You know what, Jake? Both Kay and my other daughter, Brianna, have played. So, yeah, I got an idea. I got some ideas.
Just whistle after whistle after whistle, and I don't know why. That's the part that gets me.
Yeah, no, they've changed it up a little bit now. There's a little more flow, not as many whistles.
We're getting off track, but appreciate that as well. And let's move back to the Lakers here a little bit, Bobby, because this roster, you've like you said, you've been around a long, long time here, 20 plus years with Peterborough, and you've seen some star-studded lineups over those years. But like you said, I think you got a real nice mix of some high-end talent, of course. Kind of that middle tier of guy that's making their way at the next level, and then probably a young crop that's pushing the envelope a little bit to get to that next level. And it sounds like you got a pretty good mix as far as players go.
Yeah, you know what? We're real happy, right? Like Turner Evans, he's injured right now, but he just leads by example when he's there. Obviously, Robert Hope, super vocal, leads by example. You can't go wrong with Hope as your captain. Jake Withers, arguably the best draw guy in the league. Again, strong leader on the floor and in the dressing room, right? Thomas Hogarth quietly just does his thing on the right side.
That guy is so sneaky good. Hey, Bobby, just not enough people. Thomas Hogarth, every team would love a guy like him on their squad.
Yes, 100%. Like Tom, and he just quietly comes to the rink. He punches the clock. Goes out on the floor. Next thing you know, he's got, 3, and usually 2 of them are highlights. And
nasty, yeah.
And the little things he does defensively, we do some reverse transition with him. Because you got to remember, he was a defender for us one time, and he used to transition the ball up the floor, and then after goal after goal after goal, it's like, hey, let's give this guy more opportunities up front, and it's just blossomed for him, right? So yeah, no, we're pretty blessed. We're pretty blessed, and kind of that mid group. We got Colton Armstrong. Again, he's a guy that I believe is underrated for what he does day in and day out. Ogie, again, he's an absolute beauty. He's just coming back from a concussion that he actually from last year's playoffs, and again, he hasn't missed a beat. These guys just do great stuff day in and day out.
Well, you go get my boy Brad McCulley as well. A little Victoria product. Speaking of, I know our friend Jim Morales is pumped that I got you on the podcast this week. So hey, maybe you round out your coaching career with a couple of seasons in your twilight years over on the island, maybe.
Yeah, you know what? I would love that opportunity. I've been blessed to get there a couple of times, and that I think what you call it, Fantasy Island. I get it. If that's the nickname, I get it.
When you're coaching at the MSL level and you're coaching players that played in the NLL, how much coaching do you actually do?
Yeah, you know what? I think there's always coaching to be done. It's always little tweaks. Long gone are the days where, you kind of yell and scream and tell guys what to do, right? You kind of let the players play, but there's always opportunity for continuous improvement. So now it's more little tweaks. And so that might be a guy come off and, it's just a little, hey, remember to get, those kind of things.
Reminders more than anything.
Exactly.
Reminders. Yeah. Hey, Bobby, we won't keep you any longer here, man. Appreciate your time. I know you got to be approaching hostile territory there. We're gonna be watching. Good luck tonight, and we'll see how it all shakes out in the playoffs. Who knows? We may be chatting again in a couple of months from now.
That's the plan, my friend. That's the plan.
Ring 10, Bobby
Keast,
right there. Thanks, buddy.
Thanks, Jake.
There you go. There he is, Bobby Keast, and I know that's your first conversation with him, Lucas. I told you to buckle up. It was going to be a good one with Bobby Keast. He did not disappoint here on the big show.
It's a good thing I strapped in. I don't think I was ready for that. He clearly knows what he's talking about. Peterborough guy through and through, and great chat we had with him.
Had some good times and some good nights with Bobby Keast back at the old Kelly Inn, St. Paul, Minnesota. Oh, my goodness. Get a little queasy just thinking about it. All right, let's take a break here on the big show. Third period action is next. Lax Class Lock of the Week, and then we'll get you out of here. Stay with us and stay classified.
Associated Labels and Packaging, a fun family company that offers premium quality labels and packaging with unparalleled service. With 40 years of experience, an extensive product catalog, and an ever-growing fleet of equipment, Associated Labels and Packaging is the perfect fit to take your labels and packaging to the next level.
Chairman Thompson here. You're listening to Lax Class, your go-to source for NLL and box lacrosse.
Period numero trois. That's 3 in French right there. Bilingual. Period 3. Lax Class Lock of the Week is coming up, but also need to tell you, Period 3 is brought to you by Associated Labels and Packaging. Mr. Ashworth down there and Coquitlam at Associated Labels and Packaging just celebrated his birthday with the family, probably watching lacrosse, if I had to take a guess. Premium quality labels and packaging with unparalleled service. That's what they do at ALP. And you know the rest. The environment always top of mind. The catalog is ever growing. The fleet of equipment is the best that money can buy. And that's why they're the best when it comes to labels and packages. AssociatedLP.com is where you go if you need a label or a package. Just want to check out their website. Give them a follow on social media as well. That always helps the cause. We talked a lot about CoolBet. Lax Class Lock of the Week is coming up here, Lucas. We talked a lot about the CoolBet swag. You haven't got your box yet, have you?
No. Greg, you said that he'd deliver it to me at Iroquois and Whippy, and he hasn't done that yet. Granted, he's been busy with his junior B playoffs.
Okay, now do we haven't touched on that. We forgot to touch it. Well, a couple things we forgot to touch on. We're gonna do a lot of touching right now, Lucas. The good way. First and foremost, Akwesasne and the Ironheads of West Durham started their playoff series over the weekend, and things got a little spicy at the end of game 2. Now, I got passed along the video of this. I shared it in the chat. I didn't get much of a response in the chat group. I don't know why that was the case, but the Thunder won game 1, I believe, like 9-2, pretty convincing, as they're doing the reverse playoff thing here. So they got number 1, then they got game 2. I think it was like 7-5. I was kind of out doing other things, but I got past this video, a little cross check, a little slash while the guy was down, and a quick response here from the Thunder. As
I heard it was more than just a slash when the guy was down. I heard it was a full-on one-wood driver.
I wouldn't go that far. You saw the video, did you not?
I got a different angle of it.
Okay.
So I saw the one that was thrown around in our group chat, but I got another angle of it. And
why haven't you posted that in there?
Because that one comes from a privileged source that that they told me that
privileged.
I can't share that with anybody because of how violent it was.
I see how it is. That's fine. So anyways, full line brawl pretty much breaks out here, but I'm hearing suspensions for Thunder only in this situation. Now, you as an maybe you're raising your eyebrows here at me, Archer. I don't know if you've heard something different. And this is only from one side I've been hearing this. I haven't really dug into the Ironhead side of things, but I'm hearing only Thunder players were getting suspended. And I'm like, well, that can't be right after what I just saw. I mean, yes, of course, they initiated most of the fights, but only after the egregious swinging that took place with a player on the ground, causing that response. So if anything, as far as I'm concerned, things should be pretty evened out here on both sides.
I think they would be too, but if it's only coming from one side, as an official, I'm not sure how you dictate that. I'm not sure how you call those infractions.
Well, one thing you could do, Lucas, is you could say if you were officiating that game, how you would call it, how you interpreted it, that you can share your opinion on the video, not to get inside of the referees' heads that were calling the game or whoever else, but you saw it. What would your call be?
The way that I would go about calling these infractions, to the West Durham player that started it all, a match penalty, which is the most severe infraction that you can give.
Automatic suspension,
minimum 2 games, could be more, subject to appeal and a hearing by the OLA. I would then have a instigator and fighting major to the Akwesasne player that ran in. And
now, did he come off the bench? Because I didn't see that. I just saw him kind of come into the frame, so I don't know if there was
the bench.
Okay,
so he came off the bench. So
that's a problem.
So right then and there, that's an instigator major, that's a fighting major, and that's a leaving the bench during an altercation.
Automatic suspension.
The player that he fought would then get another game misconduct for fighting. So that would be that. For the 4 other fights that occurred,
everybody gets a game.
Exactly. That's what it is.
No suspension, right? Just game misconduct. You're out of the game.
Game misconduct comes with a 1-game suspension.
Okay.
It does. So that's all it is. But in terms
of
it
should be even across the board, essentially, right?
It should be. So it should be 5. So there should be 5 suspensions on West Durham, minimum 5 on Akwesasne. The question is how many games. Yeah. So for the West Durham player that had the swing, probably more than 2 games. And for the Akwesasne guy coming off the bench, again, at least 2, possibly more.
And unfortunately for the Thunder, this is offensive players against defensive players as well, which could implicate that series. I knew this iHeads Thunder series was going to be a percolating.
They brought the Thunder.
Spicy affair.
They brought the Thunder.
And sure it is. Thunder up 2-0, but now things shift back to West Durham, and we'll see how it shakes out in Game 3. So they'll play Game 3 and 4 in West Durham. If Game 5 necessary, they'll wait a week and then play Game 5 back in West Durham. Is that the deal?
I don't believe so. I think all 3 games are next weekend. Friday, Saturday, and then Sunday if needed. I will be there Friday night. I will be, so I'll be in attendance for that game.
All right, you heard it, Greggy. Bring the Cool Bet box, then he'll be there.
Yeah, but no, I am like almost 100% sure that's how it is, simply because of how the Junior B schedule is formatted and set up and all of that. Round 1 needs to be completed by next Sunday at the very latest.
Okay. Wanted to make sure I got that in. The other thing I wanted to mention here, just before we get into the lock of the week, big news out of the WLA. At the time of recording, I don't think this has been quite publicized yet, but I believe the announcement should be coming out in short order. So I'm going to stick my neck out there again and just hope that it comes out before the podcast comes out. But Franklin Chiliano, Skiggs, Big Frankie, is now a member of the new Westminster Sound Bellies, as the Bellies go out and acquire Frank Chiliano from the Langley Thunder. 8-0, and now just add a goaltender that just finished a trip to the NLL Cup, goalie of the year in the National Lacrosse League, now a member of the new Westminster Sound Bellies. And I feel Ray Porcelato, Chris Hackle, the roster that they have assembled there in New Westminster, I think Frankie was kind of the finishing touch, the piece de resistance. So they use a little more French here in period 3, Lucas. This is big news here. I don't think the old price tag for Frankie was all that cheap, but the Bellies go out and get their man. And you look at that Bellies roster now from tip to tail, not a lot of weak spots. I think I mentioned this a couple times, like Porcelato and Hackle together as a duo there in New West, the roster that they've been able to assemble, pretty lethal.
They've been a force to be reckoned with. I don't know if any team can beat them. They're 8-0.
Big weekend here for, we're getting way off track again, but they got a massive week here. They got Coquitlam, second place Adnex on Thursday. And then they play the Shamrocks the very next night, Friday, in Victoria. So if they can get through that little gauntlet, I'm liking their chances to run the table.
They've been chasing that elusive, what number is it?
25.
20? For how long?
1991.
Wow.
Yeah, I don't know how many appearances they've had since then. I want to say close to 10. I think there was a run through the late 2000s where they were going 95, 96. They went last year, of course. I think there's maybe, I don't know if it's 10 times they've had a crack at it and haven't been able to get it done, but we'll see.
Is this the year that 25th banner is hung in New Westminster?
Let's also remember that the winner of the Western Lacrosse Association gets to add 3 senior A players from another team and a senior B player, I think, as well. Remember Mike Messenger joining the Shamrocks last year. I can't remember who the other couple of guys were, but pretty good pickups nonetheless. And I think every team probably has a couple of guys circled on other rosters that they have their eye on should they be crowned WLA champions. All right. Last thing I want to mention here before we get in the lock: subscribe, review, share, follow. We appreciate it. We appreciate all our sponsors as well, including CoolBet, as it's time for the Lax Class Lock of the Week.
Lock of the week.
Hey, let's lock and load it! Yeah!
I am going to be a very rich dude.
Ooh, it's a big lock, all right.
Here comes the money.
Here we go. Money talk.
Here comes the money. Money.
Lax Class Money Drop's still on there, Lucas. Like I said, we haven't lost. We haven't won. So keep the money drop going. Why not? Lacrosse Classified Lock of the Week brought to you by CoolBet.com. Stay cool, bet responsibly. Go to CoolBet.com, sign yourself up for an account. And before you put any money into that account, put in the bonus code LAXClass. And then they'll put some money in your account. However much you put in, up to $200, they will match that. So suddenly you could have $400, and you can go to the exclusives tab on CoolBet. You'll see the Lacrosse Classified Parlay exclusive to CoolBet. WLA Odds, proud sponsors of the WLA, the official sportsbook of the WLA, in fact. And only 2 games up right now, Wednesday, Thursday. Obviously, it's tight timing for the Wednesday game for Victoria and Langley. So let's go to Coquitlam, New Westminster on Thursday. You still got to jump on this. And hopefully the player that I'm picking for the same game parlay player prop actually plays this week. That's the goal. That's the hope anyways. Pure and simple here. Under 19.5. Now we're talking the Phenom. Del Bianco against Prison Frank. Best friends, but also enemies on Thursday for the rivalry older than dirt at Next Bellies under 19.5. We're going Bellies minus 2.5. So to win by 3, I think they're going to make a statement here. And Hayden Dixon, who has been on a tear, will continue his hot goal scoring streak. And we're going to take Hayden Dixon at plus 2.5 goals. Hat trick for Dixon. He's got 23 in 8 games. What is 8 times 3, Lucas?
24.
He is on pace. 1 goal off for 3 a game. Should we maybe drop this down to 2 goals just to play things safe? I haven't submitted this yet. Or do we do 4 points? We could do 4 points.
Well, I was going to say that. We could either keep it at 2.5 or go points. Let's go points for the man on the night. 4 points or more for Hayden Dixon.
There you go. 4 or more. So 4 gets it done. 5, you're laughing, and away we go. Go to coolbet.com, exclusive tab, exclusive parlay, Bellies under 19.5, win by 2.5, Dixon for 4 points, and that's to keep the streak going. Speaking of the streak going, we're going to keep this podcast streak going as well. Next week, we'll be back with Lax Class 345. Probably time to either shift it to maybe Alberta or come back to BC. We'll have another guest for you. We'll have a goalie of the week. We'll have our standout players. We'll have report cards. Who knows? Maybe a big focus in there as well. The Lax Class Lock of the Week, as always. And we'll get you caught up in the world of box lacrosse, as we do right here on the Lacrosse Culture Daily Podcast Network every single week. Our sponsors: Associated Labels and Packaging, Rycor Construction, Edge Dynamics, Goalie Factory, and Coolbet Canada. Appreciate all the support. Give these folks a like and a follow to show your support for the show. Thanks for listening, classmates. For Lucas Arger, I've been Jake Elliott, and for the fastest game on 2 feet, from the creator, stay safe, stay healthy, and stay classified.